Happening right now at 10, protesters are blocking one of the busiest streets in Portland's Old Port on a crowded Friday night.
A group chanting Black Lives Matter is making demands of Portland police.
Yeah, John and Kim, really the biggest development we've seen down here on Commercial Street tonight. The police were just on either side of this protest. Now they are down here. They have circled the protesters who've been standing in a circle in the middle of the intersection. You can see the police just standing right around them. Some of the police do have cameras out. It looks like they are having some dialogue with the protesters at this point. They have backed up one of their police vans. It appears they are finally starting to make some arrests in this protest that has been going on now for 3 hours. Well over 3 hours, rather. Things getting a little bit violent now, it would appear. Police are trying to keep people back, but the crowd is starting to break in. Certainly things are getting very physical down here. There are just so many people in the streets right now. The crowds have all poured right onto Commercial Street. There's a lot of physical confrontation going on. Again, so many people. I cannot see whether the chief is here or not.
We do see the chief there. It appears on the right side of your screen there in the white shirt. Portland Police Chief Mike Soschek arriving there tonight. Certainly an increasing police presence. Earlier on, there were a couple of officers, and now many more officers than that arriving. It appears that there was, an arrest, and there are some people being taken into that Portland police van there. This is the first time that we have seen any of those protesters being actually physically removed from that street. They've been blocking that street, it's important to note. Cars have not been able to get through on this very busy Friday night in Portland's Old Port, trying to get through that street. And so now Portland police stepping in to try to clear that street and allow cars to get through and the protesters off the road.
John, it does seem to have cleared out just a little bit in the street. It's unclear if that was some people who were just watching who've now left. It looks like, it's hard to tell, but it looks like there might be a half a dozen, maybe 8 to 10 people. As you can hear, the police now getting vocal. They are telling protesters to get out of the street, that they're obstructing a public way. This is one of the first times we've seen police tell protesters to get out of the way. Again, it looks like maybe 6, 8 to 10 people in the police vehicle right now under arrest. Looks like they are arresting another person right now. One of the protest organizers is here right now. I just want to ask you, what's your end game right now?
No comment.
Get them out of jail. You guys have been out here talking all night. I mean, is this what you were hoping for?
No. We were practicing our First Amendment right. This is the last thing we were hoping for.
You guys were asking police to come out and make arrests, though. I mean, isn't this what you expected to happen?
We did not expect this to happen because we thought they would respect us peacefully protesting, but they didn't. So.
Do you feel like your message has gotten across?
Yeah.
And what is that message?
That Black Lives Matter.
We're walking up Market Street right now. A group of the protesters, certainly a smaller group than they started with tonight, but a group walking up Market Street with the banner that they've been holding all night. And Dan, you were kind of caught in the middle of it when the police moved in on the protesters and started arresting them. What did you see? You were so close.
That's right, Marissa. You know, the line of officers came right into that circle that we've been showing you all night.
Tonight, CBS 13 and the BDN Portland are bringing together a panel to talk about race relations here at home.
Joining us live, first-term Portland Mayor Ethan Strimling.
Rachel Talbot Ross, longtime president of the Portland branch of the NAACP.
Shay Stewart-Booley, executive director of Community Change and author of award-winning blog Black Girl in Maine.
Portland Police Chief Michael Soschek, who's been with the department 19 years and chief the past 4.
Mahmoud Hassan, a court interpreter and president of the Somali Community Association of Maine.
And Sama Abdorakib, a former college professor and activist who helped organize Friday's protest.
Let's just start by saying, of course, there's racism here. There's absolutely present in the state of Maine. It's present in the city of Portland. It's present everywhere. So when I hear people that say it doesn't exist here, I go, come on. I mean, let's have that open dialogue. I think it's incredibly important that we do that.
She asks, how does blocking traffic help your cause?
They were clear about what they wanted to do. They wanted to bring this conversation. We have this very long history of civil disobedience as a way to move issues forward. And so what it does, I think, is, yes, it inconveniences people, right? But in that inconvenience, it says, we are experiencing something that is traumatic and that is painful, and it is not okay to just ignore that.
And I would never go to a breast cancer rally and yell out colon cancer matters. And that's what people are doing here, is that they are frustrated by the fact that people are focusing on the inequity and injustice specifically targeted to black people.
So that statement is not about we only matter. It's to say that we do matter.
Does that go through the minds of your officers when we see that?
Every day, absolutely. And I think that, you know, in law enforcement in general, and certainly at the police department, we're training for the worst and we're hoping for the best.
With the Capitol in conflict over his angry voicemail,
socialist
and comments called racially charged, an apology from Governor Paul LePage.
It should have never happened, but it did.
And an admission that it might be time for a change.
You know, maybe it is time to move on.
We are live in Augusta with team coverage of what's next for the governor and the state, as once again his so-called tell-it-like-it-is style gets him in trouble.
And good evening, everybody. I'm Greg Lagerquist, live at Capitol Park in Augusta. Of course, the Capitol in a whirlwind again today, involving controversies and the governor. From comments about drugs and race to a profanity-laced voicemail message, now to an apology from the governor today, and speculation as well, started by the governor himself, that he might resign. We begin with live team coverage tonight, and CBS 13's Marissa Bodner all the way in eastern Maine in Washington County, where she tracked down the governor this afternoon to ask the tough questions. Marissa, let's get right to it. What is the governor telling you about whether he will or will not resign?
Hey there, Greg. The governor tells me rumors of his leaving office are exaggerated. However, it is something he's thinking about moving forward. We did catch up with him today here in Washington County, where he was here to tour a new business that he helped bring to Maine.
I am looking at every option available to my family.
Hours after speculating on the radio whether or not he'll finish his second term, Governor Paul LePage confirms resignation is one of many options he's considering. This comes days after he left a profanity-laced voicemail for a state representative who allegedly called him a racist.
I've always been my own person. I only have to be accountable to God and my family.
For the first time, he offered an apology to the person who was the target of that profanity-laced voicemail message. We continue our team coverage live in Westbrook with Brad Rogers with more on that part of the story. Brad.
Well, Greg, today Governor LePage apologized to the Maine people, the Gatine family, and also to his own family. Tomorrow, he sits down face-to-face with Westbrook Democrat Drew Gatine.
Governor LePage told a local radio station this morning he lost it when he left a vulgar voicemail for State Representative Drew Gatine.
I would like to talk to you about your comments about my being a racist, and I want to talk to you. I want you to prove that I'm a racist. I've spent my life helping black people, and you little son of a socialist, I need you to, I want you to record this and make it public because I am after you.
We still don't know exactly what a local reporter told the governor last week to make him think Gatine called him a racist. But Gatine says he never called him that. Governor LePage, though, is still saying Gatine called him a racist.
Do I regret calling Gatine? Absolutely. Am I enormously hurt and frustrated by somebody who's calling me a racist after I've tried to get people off the wait list, tried to keep Mainers alive?
Westbrook Democratic State Rep Drew Gatine was out of town today. Friday, he questioned whether the governor is fit to hold office.
It sounded like somebody who was capable of injuring me and violence, and then he made those additional comments to reporters later in the day about, pointing a gun at me between my eyes.
The governor says he wants to meet with Drew Gatine face-to-face to clear the air.
Because I want to look him in the eye and apologize if I have to. But at the same token, I think he owes me
a little bit of an apology. So I think meeting face to face, we might be able to resolve things. If we can't, we can't.
Now, a top Democratic leader is also responding to all of this today. Here's what House Democratic leader Jeff McCabe told CBS 13 this afternoon.
You know, the governor needs to address what he continues to say. He needs to address his behavior, and he needs to also address the cause of that behavior. As I said in my interview yesterday or the day before, I'm not in the medical profession, but it's clear the governor needs to seek professional help.
Now, Republicans are also reacting and responding to all of this as well today. They're going to be holding a closed-door caucus here at the Capitol in just about an hour or so from right now. I'm joined now by CBS 13's Katie Sampson. And Katie, so far today, Republicans have been pretty quiet on this today.
They certainly have been, Greg. We've tried speaking to House Republicans today. They said they're not commenting until after this caucus meeting tonight. It's at 6 o'clock in less than an hour at an undisclosed location. And I'm told that out of 69 House Republican members, most of them will be at this meeting.
If the governor chooses not to resign, Democrats, our information is that they've been perusing statutes, the Constitution, to see if there's a way to force him out. Of course, you may recall just this past January, Democrats had a failed vote for impeachment. Now, there is another way. We've been digging into this as well today. There are a couple of ways this could happen. The Maine Supreme Judicial Court can get involved and determine that the governor is, quote, unable to discharge the powers and duties of office. The governor himself can determine he is no longer fit to govern. That seems unlikely. Also, the Secretary of State can call for a hearing to decide if the governor is incapacitated. Again, incapacitated really isn't what it seems like we're talking about here, and it seems like a very high threshold indeed. But it is something, of course, that we'll continue to follow. It's just one more part of this story. Meantime, CBS 13 is asking you, our viewers, to weigh in on this pretty simple question here. What do you think? As you watch all of this unfolding, do you think that the governor should or should not resign? We have a poll question up at this moment on our page on Facebook. It's asking this, and on Twitter as well. Following Governor LePage's most recent controversial comments, do you think he should resign? On Facebook, pretty split right now. 54% saying yes, 46% saying no. To Twitter now, a little stronger here. 65% saying yes, 35% saying no. Of course, we'd still love for you to voice your opinion on this one as well. Just head to our page on Facebook. That is facebook.com/WGME13, or follow us on Twitter. That is the handle, I should say, at WGME.
The CBS 13 Weather Authority team is on your side this winter, bringing you the important information that you need to know to keep your family safe.
And tonight, our weather team is taking over the newscast. We are covering Maine from the mountains to the mid-coast with stories that matter to you. Adam, Lexi, and Amanda are all standing by.
We are live in Dayton at Pumpkin Valley Farm, and I am hanging out by the corn maze. We're going to talk a lot more about that coming up in just a little bit. We took the show on the road today. We have our mobile green screen right here. We have pumpkins all over the place. We are talking about the harvest season, transitioning over to the winter season, and it's a perfect time to do that because we have some rain and we have some snow to talk about, and we have some winds as well. So let's waste no time. Let's start off with what we have in our Doppler HT. The rain is already overspreading a large portion of southern Maine. The snow has started for portions of Vermont, back into western parts of New Hampshire there as well. The colder air will get drawn into this over northern Oxford, Franklin, and Somerset County, particularly during the early morning hours tomorrow.
It's election night, and CBS 13 News is on your side.
An unprecedented election.
It's a crazy world we're living in.
From the candidates to the ballot questions.
The very first thing we need to do in this state is pass universal background. It has to happen.
THC levels in marijuana snacks are so high they could kill children and pets.
The polls are closed. We're getting results.
We are stronger together.
It's election night in Maine, and we're on your side.
You're watching CBS 13 and Fox 23's Vote 2016 election coverage.
Good evening, I'm Jana Barnello. Welcome back to our special Vote 2016 coverage on Channel 13.2 and WGME.com. Polls have been closed for an hour now, and we are slowly getting results as many people were still waiting to vote well into the 8 o'clock hour because that's how busy some of these precincts have been. Now, tonight we have two analysts in studio talking about how these results will impact you. Paul Mills, a political expert, has more than 20 years of experience, and Andy Rudalevich, a professor of government and political science from Bowdoin College. Plus, we've got a live studio audience watching the results with us here. Many of them are political science students from southern Maine. We will hear their take on the results as they come in as well. and tell us what you think. Here's an easy way to do that. You can comment, send a question, tweet with the hashtag MaineVotes on Twitter. You can also comment on our page on Facebook, facebook.com/WGME13. Thank you so much for being here with us on this historic night.
Good evening once again. It is one of the biggest elections in recent U.S. history, and of course here in Maine as well. And we are live with our Vote 2016 election results from all around the state.
The numbers are still coming in. We're in for a long night, it looks like. We're keeping a close eye on the race for the White House, of course, Congress, and multiple ballot questions.
We have crews live around Maine right now from Bangor to Portland covering how Mainers voted for president. We can see an electoral vote split, by the way, folks. A close race for Maine's 2nd district as well, and of course the biggest issues on the ballot.
We've talked with veterans here in Maine and across the country, and they say this is really hurting them. Service members are often given severance when the military downsizes and closes bases, but now in some cases, years later, the government is taking that money back.
I joined in 1980. I was 30 years old.
For 17 years, Lieutenant Commander Edgar Cormier served our country with pride in the United States Navy.
And I loved it.
When the Navy wanted to trim its ranks in the late 90s, Cormier was forced out.
They said, your services are no longer required, and we'll throw money at you to make you go away.
According to military records, Cormier was released from active duty, given an honorable discharge, and a separation payment of about $83,000, $60,000 after taxes.
Thought this was a severance pay, just like you get from any major corporation when you're downsized.
He says he used that money to start his new life outside the service.
You lost your job, you're unemployed. You have to now move because you can't stay in base housing. You have to move, you have to get your family reestablished.
He later learned
it's a great kept secret.
He'd have to pay that severance money back to the federal government.
No one knows about it. The people that give you the money were not told about it.
It took him about a decade to pay it all back with monthly deductions from his disability benefits and then military retirement. $83,000 back to the federal government. Remember, he only took home $60,000.
That $83,000 bonus now cost me $106,000 because I can't get my $23,000 back that was taken out by the IRS.
If this has you scratching your head, it did us too. We checked with the VA and the Department of Defense. Both told us Congress requires them to collect the money, pointing us to federal law, which in fact does require service members to repay severance if they later become eligible for disability or retirement.
The point is, it's wrong. It's wrong to give it, take it, and then take it again.
Adria Horn is the director of the Maine Bureau of Veteran Services. She says this bureaucratic curveball is often thrown at veterans when they need the money the most, blocking benefits to disabled veterans.
And they will suffer with this type of law in place because they think they're the only one.
But veterans like Lieutenant Commander Cormier are not alone.
You start seeing tens of thousands of people.
We asked the VA to tell us how many veterans were given separation money and are now paying it back. We got this report. During the last 5 years, the VA withheld more than $400 million in disability benefits from nearly 25,000 veterans. Another $261 million will be taken from future compensation. The Department of Defense couldn't tell us how many people are making payments out of their military retirement.
Whether there's one person or 50 people or 1,000 people, if it's wrong, it's wrong. It can be addressed and it can be changed.
That would have to happen here in Congress. So we brought the issue to our senators.
I'm very concerned about it. To me, it's not fair to recoup that.
Senator Susan Collins told us she'd take a closer look at the issue.
But that is my first reaction.
I wasn't aware of it. These people have earned our respect and the support that they're due.
Senator Angus King says he wants answers too. Specifically, if service members are made aware that accepting separation pay could affect any future benefits.
I wonder if anybody would think that it would apply to disability payments, which to me are a separate item. But obviously we got to get to the bottom of it.
Retired Lieutenant Commander Cormier is concerned this issue will only get bigger as more troops are asked to leave the service.
It's causing all kinds of family hardships because the DOD says, we want it back now.
A VA spokesman told me veterans who can show financial hardship may be eligible for a more lenient repayment plan. Meanwhile, the fight is on in Washington. More than 50,000 people have signed a petition, including more than 200 Maine veterans, asking Congress to repeal the law that requires payback before getting those earned disability benefits.
Looking live outside right now, the flakes are falling in Freiburg. That part of Maine could see a foot of snow by the time this storm is done.
Checking the radar right now, a messy mix of snow and rain. It's blanketing the state, and we're really just getting started here. Our Weather Authority team is bringing you live coverage of this nor'easter tonight.
Meteorologist Adam Epstein is tracking changing conditions right now and into the night, and we have team coverage of the storm from inland, which will get nailed, to the coast, which will see the least amount of snow from this storm.
And meteorologist Amanda Jellig is in Lewiston tonight along that rain-snow line where the snow is expected to be heaviest. But let's start with meteorologist Adam Epstein for the latest on this nor'easter. Adam, a lot to track here.
Jen, a lot's going on with this storm. It's not just the rain and the snow, but also winds picking up, which could reduce visibilities even further and make traveling even more treacherous than it is with the slick roads already. We do have a winter storm warning in effect across the interior until 5 a.m. on Friday and a wind advisory along the coast until 8 a.m. on Friday, with gusts possibly exceeding 40 or 45 miles per hour. Let's send it over to meteorologist Amanda Jellig out in the field with her very own green screen to tell us about that rain-snow line. How's it look by you, Amanda?
Yeah, well, you know, the snow is still coming down at a good rate. Since we got here, we've received 4 inches, but right along the coast, we still have, again, everything changing over to the rain. We still have the freezing rain as we head through inland locations. Now, here in Lewiston, though, we still have the snow sticking around, but that mixture is very close to being moving on in. Wind speeds continue to pick up, so definitely a bit of a wintry mix just across the board.
Dan, we could see more than a foot of snow in your area in Freiburg by tomorrow morning, and the ski resorts are going to love this.
They're going to love it, guys, and it's this nice fresh powder. It's perfect for tomorrow for those skiers who are going to be going out there. But you can see we have crews out here that are starting to clear the sidewalks, clear the area out here. We've had a significant amount of snow, and it has not stopped. It actually has gotten stronger over the past couple minutes, but they're trying to clear things out right now. But I want to walk over here real quick. I got the trusty yardstick, and we're going to show you how much snow we've actually got out here in the area. And about an hour ago, we said that there was about 7 inches, and we are just a little bit over that now. So it's definitely accumulating here pretty fast, and it's this nice fluffy snow, and it's easy for these little tractors and stuff to start picking up. But the real problems are going to start overnight when this snow gets really heavy, and it's going to start bringing problems like power outages as well as severe road conditions.
A messy ride home from work for many of you.
State police say they responded to just a couple of slide-offs on I-295 and a couple more on 95. Really nothing serious at this point, thankfully. The speed limit has been reduced to 40 miles an hour on 295 and 45 on the turnpike right now.
The storm is causing slick roads and slide-offs all around the state.
A truck did go off the road late this afternoon on Route 35 in Standish.
And that's where we find CBS 13's Dan McCarthy. Dan, what's it like where you are?
Janet, the traffic just resumed here, but a couple of minutes ago. For the past hour, it had been stopped going both ways on Route 35 in Standish because of this sight that we're about to show you now. It's a pickup truck that had crossed the lane and rolled over onto its side, crashing into a utility pole and knocking over the fence. It was a really frightening scene, but fortunately, with all 3 people inside that vehicle, no one was hurt. And I did have the privilege to speak with the driver of the vehicle who is dealing with some treacherous conditions, as are so many who are driving through Standish and all parts of Maine.
My right wheels got off the edge of the tire and I pulled it back on, and the front came on all right, but the back end caught on it and just brought it right around sideways.
I have a marine emergency.
The worst disaster at sea in decades. 33 people on board the cargo ship El Faro when it vanished last fall.
33 souls of our loved ones, and it's their final resting place.
4 of them from Maine: Captain Michael Davidson, Dylan Mecklin, Danielle Randolph, and Michael Holland.
He'll always be in my heart.
Tonight, the I-Team explores a mystery 3 miles beneath the Atlantic.
There's so many unknowns in this tragedy.
From the captain's heartbreaking final call for help.
Oh, man. The clock is ticking.
To the crew's last minutes and the violent end to their voyage.
When that ship went down, I guarantee you she went down fighting for everything that child's got.
The enormous challenges in this unprecedented investigation.
They're doing what they need to do to hopefully prevent this from happening again.
How this catastrophe could reshape operations on the ocean and the impact for future mariners in Maine. Live on Fox 23, El Faro, The Final Voyage.
Good evening, I'm John Chrysos, live in Jacksonville, Florida, where the cargo ship El Faro left 1 year ago in these waters on the way to Puerto Rico. The ship never made it.
I'm Marissa Bodner at Maine Maritime Academy in Castine, where the 4 Mainers on board were trained how to navigate an unforgiving sea.
Hey, I'm in a holiday spirit right now. I got the Santa hat right on. Hey, one of the many presents we'll be looking for, how about a brand new bike to donate to the Joy of Sharing? This is a pretty nice one right here. All you have to do is bring it down to our location right now. Let me fill you in where we are.
Oh, wait a minute. Dave, I think I see somebody. Hang on. Hang on. Santa Claus, is that you? Santa, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
How are you?
I am very well. How are you doing tonight?
Jen, it is the most perfect weather you could ask for donating food for our pet food drive, and I am lost in an ocean of pet food, not just for cats, dogs, but for rabbits. And also we have some beds. This looks so comfortable. If you could feel this, you'd know how soft it is.
We've already collected 14,000 pounds of food. How amazing.
It's just incredible, isn't it, Jen? And more than 1,600 of those pounds have been collected right here at the Animal Refuge League in Westburg.
All here to show what makes being a bulldog so special. And hey, here's the main reason we're here. We are collecting food and money for the Good Shepherd Living. Look what they've done so far. Big pile of food, because you know what? The bulldogs want to take a bite out of hunger. Principal Mr. Brown said that if they could raise $500 in the online donation, he would kiss Pearl the pig.
Woo! John Chrysos is outside of our Portland studios live, hosting our free summer car seat safety check with Safe Kids Maine and AAA once again. And John, great to see you. It's been pretty busy out there in the parking lot.
Yeah, it sure has, Greg, and I'll tell you why, because if you've ever tried to put in one of these car seats, you'll know just how frustrating and complicated it can be. So people are coming by saying they just want to make sure that car seat is in there properly so their precious cargo in the back is protected and secure. Teaming up with us again, the I-Team, is Safe Kids Maine, Suzanne Grace, and AAA. So glad to have you guys here, the pros. What are you seeing as far as installation done right or maybe done wrong here tonight?
Well, so far we're seeing a lot of loose installations. This car seat isn't quite as tight as it needs to be.
Certainly one of our favorite nights here at CBS 13, because tonight we were making it easier than ever for you to see if you have any missing money that's rightfully yours.
John Chrysos is in our On Your Side Help Center working with experts right now to cut through the confusion during this period of open enrollment, John.
Yeah, a lot of confusion. Glad that we can be here to help. Really a scary and concerning time for thousands of Mainers, many who do have insurance for the first time. Plans in Maine are going up an average of 22%, and some say they feel the Affordable Care Act is just no longer affordable.
Now, well, as you can see, this has gone up.
Barbara Colbert says she was stunned when she got the mail. Her health insurance plan from Community Health Options that cost her about $20 a month this year would be nearly 10 times more expensive next year.
49,000 acres, preserved and still serving 1 century later. We explore Acadia National Park, from the people who made Acadia what it is today.
This was a gift from the people of the island to the nation.
The ideas that live on after 100 years. To those who've spent decades maintaining the park.
I say there was still a glacier here when I started.
And the massive fire that changed Acadia's landscape forever.
Here is the latest roundup of conditions in the fire area.
It came up with such velocity, and the winds were so strong.
I can remember seeing
sheets of flame and thinking, that's home.
Now, CBS 13 News presents Acadia, Centennial of Serving and Preserving, sponsored by Central Maine Power.
Welcome to Acadia National Park, the only national park born of and by the people. Right now we are in one of the most iconic spots in the park, the top of Cadillac Mountain. We are 1,530 feet up in the air, the highest point on the North Atlantic seaboard.
This striking scenery is preserved for everybody to enjoy, thanks to the generosity of the people who once lived here.
The CBS 13 I-Team reached out to 19 other school districts about their policies. We heard back from 16, all who say, yes, they do lockdown drills, and most have for some time now. Yarmouth schools do 1 drill each year, while here in Gorham, they do at least 2. We followed up with the Falmouth superintendent multiple times asking to sit down for an interview, but we never got a response.
Welcome back. It is a beautiful view from here on top of the Portland Observatory, a landmark that just barely survived the Great Fire of 1866.
For one night, all the ancient elements conspired against us. Earth, air, water, fire.
The alarms rang out across Portland, a fire of almost unimaginable size and fury sweeping the city. So large, it would become a literal firestorm.
The cinders raining from the sky were its own form of hell and fire.
By the time it was done, homes and churches, banks and businesses, a third of the city from Commercial Street to Munjoy Hill, more than 1,500 buildings, gone.
And what was but yesterday a beautiful and prosperous city is now a scene of desolation and ruins melancholy to contemplate.
The fire began after 4 p.m. on a pleasant July 4th afternoon along the waterfront, near where Becky's Diner is today. The official account, sparked by 2 boys playing with a firecracker.
The wind coming in from the harbor was just enough to spread it to the next building and thus to the next, and this wooden ancient city down by the harbor began to catch building after building after building after building.
Maine State Prison records identify inmate 84756 as Walter Moore, age 56, convicted murderer. But that inmate,
you have to represent yourself who you are,
identifies as someone else.
I am a woman.
She lives among an all-male population.
I miss my dresses, I miss my slips, my skirts, my blouse.
And goes by the name Nikki Natasha Pederocci.
I've been here since February 18, 2005. 11 years.
Nikki pleaded guilty to murder. Police say she confessed to killing her friend Connie Gagliardi in 2002, tying her up between 2 trees at the Rachel Carson Wildlife Refuge, and then slitting her wrists and her throat.
I did not commit a crime. Someone else did.
But this isn't a story about innocence or guilt. At the time of her arrest, Nikki says she was in the process of transitioning from male to female, taking hormones and saving money for gender reassignment surgery.
What your body feels on the inside, you can't feel right what it is on the outside. People look at you different.
And different is how she's felt for more than a decade. Nikki says medical records show she was kept on her hormones while awaiting trial at the York County Jail.
And that was it.
But abruptly cut off just days after arriving at the state prison to start her 60-year sentence.
Your body feels miserable, and your emotions is at stake. And half the time you feel like you want to cut yourself up.
In a federal lawsuit against the Department of Corrections, or DOC, and its medical provider, she calls it cruel and unusual punishment. Nikki says she's been denied adequate health care and is seeking not only financial compensation, but also requesting to be seen by a doctor specializing in gender dysphoria and given a treatment plan.
So does the department say you're not transgender? They just say you're a man?
Basically, that's what they're saying.
The DOC and provider both declined to comment on the pending lawsuit. The provider is also named in a suit filed by 3 transgender inmates at the Maine Correctional Center in Windham, all listed in prison records as female. One is asking the court to order hair removal and gender reassignment surgery. 2 others are seeking hormone therapy.
Courts have consistently found that gender dysphoria is a serious medical condition and it does require treatment. And to not provide treatment violates the 8th Amendment.
The American Civil Liberties Union of Maine says courts have left treatment decisions up to the healthcare providers.
It's a decision that's properly made between a patient and their doctor. There's no one prescribed treatment for every trans person.
Again, the DOC isn't commenting, but the I-Team discovered this department policy that took effect in November of 2015. It describes procedures for inmates who identify as transgender when they arrive or later on. Either way, the department has 30 working days to form a team of staff members to review the case, and then make recommendations about whether that inmate should be evaluated, plus where they should live and which restrooms they should use.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
Nikki says that hasn't been the case in her experience. So she says she's fighting for the rights of other transgender inmates in Maine, hoping to change their circumstances and hers.
How does it make you feel to think that you might spend the rest of your life in a men's prison?
If that's going to happen, I'm going to do my surgery myself. And I might be bleed out before they even know it. Then I'll be dead right in the cell. Just plain facts.
You can't imagine living this life.
No.
Again, the Department of Corrections and its medical provider declined to comment when we asked for their side of the story. Both did file responses to Nikki's lawsuit in court denying the allegations. That medical provider has not yet filed an answer to the other lawsuit in court.
It is a fascinating issue.
And certainly Maine isn't the only state dealing with these issues. Are there any precedents anywhere else?
Yeah, the courts in recent years have said a lot about this. A Georgia inmate recently won a lawsuit. She sued the state for being denied hormone therapy. Last year, a court ruled that the state of California had to pay for a sex change operation. That was a first across the nation. And that sex change surgery, that without any other sort of cosmetic enhancements, that can run at about $20,000.
All right, well, update us.
I have no idea because I have a lot.
You'll find dozens of pet toys.
Yeah, more.
In 5-year-old Kylie Brown's room. You'll also find clues.
Snowflake, and then you put it in on the...
To her real-life pet who can't always come inside to play.
How did Snowflake get his name?
When he was 0 years old, I named him.
We've had dogs. Mostly. She had a couple of gerbils. That's been about it.
She's always liked animals?
Yeah, she loves animals.
Ashley Brown says she's never seen an animal love somebody back.
A feather was in my boot.
Like Snowflake loves Kylie.
It was kind of on a whim that we brought him home, and I thought it's a farm animal. It lives outside. You feed it. Maybe you get some eggs from it. I don't know. And I was not expecting this at all.
Snowflake the duck follows Kylie everywhere. Her mom says it started day one.
He just keeps going.
This little yellow fur ball is squawking in a box, and Kylie walked over to the box and leaned in, and it was quiet.
They've been inseparable ever since.
Snowflake.
Everywhere she went, and he was quiet. And if she went missing, he would squawk and panic.
Over the past 6 months, Kylie and Snowflake have played at the beach. They swing on the swing set. On Halloween, he rounded out their Frozen costumes. Snowflake dressed as Olaf, the snowman.
They are best friends, but in his eyes, she's Mama. She's Mama Duck.
Brown says Kylie cares for Snowflake like a child. He waits for her at the bus stop to get home from school, and she makes sure he gets his afternoon nap.
I've seen her grow up. She's become very responsible. She takes very good care of him.
Brown doesn't know what bonded her daughter and Duck that first day, but whatever it is, it's taught them love comes in all shapes, sizes, and species.
He's family. He's definitely family.
In Freeport,
Look at this.
Jana Barnello, Fox 23 News.
Now, CBS 13 News is on your side at 6.
Our son was assaulted
by a teacher. A teacher duct taped our son's mouth.
If I duct taped one of your kids' mouths shut, I wouldn't make it home and I would be in jail.
Parents outraged and demanding answers, claiming a teacher assaulted their child 4 years ago.
They tell us they felt compelled to speak after a new controversy involving the district superintendent continues to swirl tonight. CBS 13 has team coverage of these SAD6 scandals.
We start with CBS 13's Marissa Bodner, who is live with the incident that one family is now making public years later.
Well, the couple tells me the incident here at Buxton Center Elementary School was assault and never should have happened. They feel like the district acted as if it didn't. Now they're among those calling for the superintendent to resign.
A teacher duct taped our son's mouth for 25 to 30 minutes.
Melissa and Richard Bourgeois Lang say their son was in the 5th grade and had recently been hospitalized for asthma attacks.
She said in front of all the students, "I've waited 32 years to do this." And she put it over his mouth and said, "You're not supposed to be talking."
When he came home, they say there was still glue on his face.
And it was purple and red from ear to ear, skin and hair missing.
Their story is corroborated by an incident report from the Buxton Police Department. It says the teacher admitted to putting duct tape on the boy's mouth, but claimed it was done in a joking manner. According to the report, the school launched an investigation right away and put the teacher on paid administrative leave. She's no longer with the district, but it's unclear whether she was fired or allowed to resign.
If I duct taped one of your kids' mouths shut, I wouldn't make it home and I would be in jail.
The teacher was never charged, and today the York County District Attorney's Office wouldn't comment when we asked why. The Bourgeois Langs say they feel the district, too, swept it all under the rug.
These are our kids. These are our kids.
They've been homeschooling since 2012 and say they're speaking out now as the community calls for action against Superintendent Frank Sherburne, who allegedly violated the district's nepotism policy when he hired his son.
Frank Sherburne hired his son, nepotism, and was very careless with our children.
They say the so-called scandals need to stop.
Our kids don't have a chance. They don't have a chance when you constantly have to worry about what's going on within this district and who's leading it.
We did reach out to the superintendent and the chair of the board today to ask when that teacher left, under what circumstances, and whether parents were notified. However, none of our messages were returned. For now, live in Buxton, Marissa Bodner, CBS 13 News. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Marissa.
The SAD6 school board is meeting to discuss their findings in that nepotism investigation. They want to know if the superintendent, Frank Sherburne, broke policy when the district hired his son, Zachariah. CBS 13's Jennifer Long is joining us live. And Jen, Zachariah Sherburne's credentials are also being questioned.
Yeah, Greg, that's right. The Department of Education says that Zachariah Sherburne did not have the proper credentials to be an ed tech. However, he was hired in his father's school district. And about the same time that hire happened, Zachariah Sherburne admitted to police that he impregnated a teen in another school district. Now, for about a month now, SAD6, their school board, has been looking into these nepotism allegations against Superintendent Frank Sherburne. The school board has met to discuss the nepotism policy a few times, and they announced yesterday they have completed their investigation. Now, all of these discussions have happened in executive sessions behind closed doors. Tonight, we are expecting the board to go into executive session again, but it is important to note that if they do take a vote on anything, that vote will have to happen in the public. Now, the school board meeting is supposed to start in just about an hour from now at 7 o'clock. We'll be here throughout the evening and bring you any new information as it becomes available to us. Live in Buxton tonight, Jennifer Long, CBS 13 News. Back to you.
A lot of parents and people in the community waiting to see what's going to happen, Jen. Thanks.
Also happening in SAD6 right now, investigators are looking for the people who broke into and vandalized Bonnie Eagle High School. Police say there is no indication that this is connected to the drama taking place in the district. But as CBS 13's Katie Sampson tells us live, school was canceled because that damage was so extensive. Katie?
That's right, Kim. Now, investigators say they are narrowing in on suspects tonight, people who they say are associated with the high school. We're told the vandals broke in through a roof hatch sometime before 2 o'clock this morning. School officials say the vandalism began in the teacher's room, where items in the refrigerator were dumped and smashed on the floor. Then the suspects shattered vending machines and set off fire extinguishers. Investigators say between surveillance video and conducting interviews, they have a good idea of who's behind this, but they're not naming any suspects. Students and parents we spoke to tell us they're disappointed to see this happen.
It's very unfortunate that they felt they had to go in and wreck the school to have a day off, if that's what it was, or just to get back at somebody.
I'm hoping they get caught and they get punished for what they did, because it really wasn't fair to the students in the administrative district.
Investigators say there are no safety concerns that they're aware of right now. School officials say they spent the day cleaning up inside the high school. They do plan to resume classes tomorrow. I did reach out for further comment from the superintendent, but did not get a response. Live at Bonnie Eagle High School, Katie Sampson at CBS 13 News. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Katie. We'll continue to follow that.
Sanford superintendent says his school district is dealing with a serious sexting issue right now. He says some students are sexting on school iPads and on personal smartphones. CBS 13's Brad Rogers spoke to one parent who says she caught her daughter and is now pushing the district to do something about this.
I can show you off camera. I can show you everything. This addiction has taken my child.
Christy LeMay's daughter is a freshman at Sanford High School, where she says sexting among students is out of control.
You have kids at the high school that are in their academic classes that are sexting.
LeMay showed us some of the images she found on her daughter's iPad of young people having sex.
Nude filth, straight up filth. Did I pay to have the iPad? For school purposes, yes. And I also trusted that they had control.
All Maine schools are required to use internet filters, but Sanford School Superintendent David Theoharides says students know ways around those filters.
Our kids are smart. They're smart all around the country.
The Sanford School District is now considering only allowing students to take their iPads home if they have a homework assignment. The school is also considering a lockdown on what apps students can download to their iPads. But there's a downside to that.
And as soon as you start locking it down and making it tighter and tighter, it makes it harder for the teacher to be able to use it in the classroom.
Now, late today, the superintendent emailed a letter to parents asking them to monitor their teenage children's computer activity and also talk to them about sexting. The superintendent also reminded parents that the school has no control over what students may be doing with their smartphones. We are live in Sanford. Brad Rogers, CBS 13 News. Greg?
All right, very troubling indeed, Brad. Thanks. Recycling facility just goes up in flames in Elliott. This fire broke out at Aggregate Recycling Corporation along Route 236. Heavy black smoke from the burning construction debris could be seen for miles. Workers say heavy equipment burned as well. A limited water supply made fighting this fire especially difficult. Crews say they had to use tanker trucks from several communities.
Fire chief accused of starting a brush fire in Old Orchard Beach is now out on bail. Court documents say Ricky Plummer told police he threw out a cigarette and accidentally sparked that 42-acre fire. But police say surveillance video obtained by CBS 13 yesterday tells a different story. Plummer is charged with arson. Hit by a motorcycle and thrown across the road. The victim of a hit-and-run crash in downtown Portland is talking only to CBS 13 tonight. I-Team reporter John Crisos is downtown now with the exclusive new details in this case. John?
The victim in this case tells me she was walking here near the Civic Center trying to cross the road when a motorcycle came down that hill and slammed right into her and a friend.
My body kind of just went into shock.
27-year-old Amanda Dunnigan says her long road to recovery started at this intersection last July.
We just crossed the street here because the median was taken out, so it was just dirt in the middle of the road, so there was no crosswalk.
Dunnigan says she and a friend went flying in opposite directions after they were hit by a motorcycle.
And she had flown about 20 feet to the right, like right near the sidewalk, and I flew back 20 feet into the middle of the median and kind of like
rubbed face first on the ground.
According to court documents, a grand jury has indicted 35-year-old Carl Curry in connection with the crash, charging him with leaving the scene of an accident involving serious bodily injury or death.
They thought it was his handlebar that went through my quad, and his front tire basically ran over my foot, which broke my ankle and then fractured my knee.
Dunnigan says she and her friend are thankful to be alive, but live with reminders of the crash every day.
I still have no feeling on the right side of my right leg. I'm scarred all over my legs forever. It's not going to go away. But the pain is just something I can't even describe. The tingling, the burning.
Curry will be in court again next Tuesday on this Class C felony charge. He has pleaded not guilty. He did not return our call today seeking comment on that charge against him. We're reporting live tonight in downtown Portland. John Criso, CBS 13 News.
All right, thank you, John. Terrible accident.
That just shocked me, that somebody could put something like that into what would be a kid's toy.
A dangerous discovery. The sharp object a family says they found in a toy bag from a Lewiston dollar store.
And the warning they have tonight for other parents.
Governor LePage is taking his town hall to Oakland tonight. What he plans to talk about and what some say they want to hear. All the live report from the event coming up.
And a beautiful spring day is coming to an end. How much longer we'll be able to hold on to the nice weather and when to expect some rain showers. That's in my 7-day forecast after the break.
A Lewiston mom wants answers after she claims she found a sharp razor blade inside a toy from a dollar store.
This is the object the parents say they found. The 9-year-old is not hurt, but as CBS 13's Courtney Highfield explains tonight, her grandmother is now speaking out to warn others.
Are you kidding me? I mean, that just shocked me, that somebody could put something like that into what would be a kid's toy.
Dawn Nackery says her daughter Erica Gerardin was shopping at the Dollar Tree on Lisbon Street. She picked up a bag labeled a surprise for a girl for her 9-year-old daughter. Nackery says the so-called surprise turned out to be this, a pill cutter, complete with a razor blade.
Oh yeah, you can even see the edges on it, the fine edges on it.
Gerardin went back to the store demanding an explanation.
The first lady just told them that she could come in and they'd give her $1 back. But after that, she tried calling their corporates and stuff, and then they said that somebody was going around sticking these type of things inside of the bags and resealing them.
This concerned grandmother says at this point, it's not about the money. They want to make sure someone at the store will go through the bags and make sure this doesn't happen again.
They didn't even offer to take anything off the shelf and check the bag. If it can happen once, I'm sure it can happen again, especially if whoever is filling the bags does not understand what these actually are.
Luckily, the 9-year-old knew it wasn't a toy. They're thankful someone younger didn't get their hands on it.
She's 9, but if a 3 or 4-year-old had gotten hold of this, they might not have understood the concept of what the razor blade was.
Nackery says they'll continue shopping at the Dollar Tree, but they'll be extra cautious about everything they buy. Dollar Tree sent us a statement saying, quote, "We take matters like this very seriously. We're investigating the situation to determine how it could have occurred." The company says they've also looked through all of the boys' and girls' grab bags. In Lewiston, Courtney Highfield, CBS 13 News.
Governor Paul LePage is holding his weekly town hall event right now in the town of Oakland. CBS 13's Lexi O'Connor is there live and joins us now. And Lexi, how's it going there so far?
Well, Greg, the town hall started just about 15 minutes ago. There are dozens of people inside. This week's town hall is at Mesolonsky Middle School. Governor LePage is inside the cafeteria right now talking to the crowd. Now, he is expected to touch on his typical talking points in town halls, including further reducing the income tax, reforming welfare, cutting energy costs, and also strengthening domestic violence laws in the state. Now, as in other town halls, there will be a chance for anyone to ask the governor a question. We've been talking to people coming in. Many say they're looking forward to hearing what Governor LePage has to say, whether they agree with him or not. Now, tonight's town hall is open to the public. It's expected to go until 7 o'clock tonight, and we will have a full report on everything that happens coming up at 10 and 11. Live in Oakland, Lexi O'Connor, CBS 13 News. Back to you guys.
All right, we'll look for you then, Lexi. Thanks.
Making a difference, how a unique program in Maine is tackling one of the state's biggest problems.
And another nice day is drawing to a close. The mild air is going to hang around. Who touches the 70s and when to expect some rain showers? It's in the 7-day forecast coming up next.
Now, your CBS 13 Weather Authority forecast with Chief Meteorologist Charlie Lopresti.
Welcome back, everyone. What a gorgeous day we had. Sunshine from beginning to end. Temps warming into the 60s and 70s, and it only gets better. Let's take a look at our satellite radar to start us out. We have the clear skies, courtesy of high pressure in place. All those clouds you see to our south, those are all going to scoot to our south overnight. So with the clear skies, it's going to be a cool night again. Lows will range from low 40s at the coast to widespread 30s over the interior. Time lapse from our Raymond sky cam shows a nice clear sky with just a few fair weather clouds at times. Flowers are out. We have clear skies like this. It's fantastic. Barbara, one of our viewers, sending in this nice photo of the violets. They're out. The jumping jacks are out as well. This one from Mary, another nice viewer photo. CBS 13's very own Scott DiEpiscopo sending in this dandelion field right here. Gotta love the colors, especially after a week we had last week. Remember, we were in the 40s for highs? This week is so much better, isn't it? We have a live look from our Portland sky cam now. 65 miles to the west, we have the summit of Mount Washington. Pretty impressive there. Up on Mount Washington, they had a visibility of 130 miles today. Incredible stuff. Now, the air temperature in Portland is 63 degrees. The wind has turned on shore. We have a south to southeast wind at about 10 miles per hour. You can see that more prevalent down in Kennebunkport. We're at 55 degrees there. Nice day for a walk on the beach, perhaps. But farther inland, it's quite a bit warmer. Low 70s still back in Raymond. This time of year, it's great to see some of the snow still over the higher peaks. That's looking at Mount Washington from Wildcat Mountain. Now, projected lows tonight will be in the 30s over inland towns where a patchy frost is possible. We should bottom out low 40s at the immediate coastline. High pressure stays in control of our weather. That means we'll have the sun again tomorrow. All those showers will scoot off to our south. Remember, last night we had all that severe weather down in Oklahoma. Well, tonight's severe weather is down into Kentucky. Each one of those little red boxes right there, those are tornado warnings. So more severe weather is occurring well off to our south and west. In fact, tornadoes already touching down in Kentucky. This is one of them right there. Of course, last night we had tornadoes touching down in Oklahoma, several tornadoes, in fact. Closer to home, nothing but clear skies. In vacation land, we'll enjoy the sunshine tomorrow, starting in the 40s and low 50s. We're out of the gates at 7 a.m. with temps near 50 degrees. I think highs tomorrow will make it back into the upper 60s. Tomorrow's normal high is about 62. We'll be a few degrees above that for not only tomorrow, but Thursday as well. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. A feeble sea breeze may try to get going, but look at inland towns. You head 20, 30 miles inland. We should be in the mid-70s. It looks quite nice. We'll start with some sunshine on Friday. Notice the clouds and the increase. And right behind me, we have a round of rain that arrives by Friday evening. So any wet weather holds off until Friday evening and more so Friday night. Saturday will feature the chance for a shower in the morning. Other than that, we should have partly sunny skies with temps ranging from 60s at the coastline to low 70s inland. There's a chance for a shower on Sunday as well. In the near term, we're going to enjoy a lot of sunshine in the coming days. It could be a whole lot worse here, Greg and Kim. 71 years ago tonight, we had 7 inches of snow in Portland.
Oh, that would really hurt.
That would really hurt at this point.
We don't have to even go back that far, though. I think just last week was much worse than this. So.
It was.
Yeah, we've come a long way since like Sunday.
Exactly.
Thanks, Charlie. A unique program in Maine is tackling teen substance abuse. Here at Lilybrook Farm in Hollis, teens from the Day One Residential Treatment Program in Buxton are offered equine therapy. The teens in the program say building a relationship with their horse helps with their confidence, self-esteem, and sense of responsibility. It also helps with emotions.
And really across the board, 100%, I see these kids calm down when they're with the horse. And so they're learning how to do that better out in the world.
It kind of just gave me a chance to look at myself and my own emotions, and was good to work through.
In the past 3 years, 10 teens ages 14 to 18 have gone through the program. Lilybrook Farm is a nonprofit organization relying on donations. For more information, go to WGME.com.
The OA Centers for Orthopedic Sports report is next. Portland and Marshwood meeting on a high school diamond tonight. The one team looking to stay undefeated.
Plus, it's tourney time for the USM baseball team. The one Husky who has plenty of bark and bite. Next in sports.
Now on CBS 13 News, the OA Centers for Orthopedic Sports report with Dave E.
Good evening, everyone. The USM baseball team is headed to UMass Boston in the Little East tournament. The Huskies will kick things off tomorrow afternoon against Eastern Connecticut State University as the defending champs look to punch their ticket to the NCAAs. The USM baseball team getting in one final practice today before heading south for the Little East tournament.
Regular season's fun and stuff, but this is when really, you got to buckle down and everyone comes together for that, one goal. That goal is an LEC title. The Huskies have won 3 of the last 4, but this year the field is wide open.
I think it is. I think all 6 teams are capable of winning. I wouldn't pick a favorite. I'm not going to pick us, but we'll go down there and do the best we can and see what happens.
Now, the Huskies have always played on natural grass, but UMass Boston's new field has the artificial field turf. However, the Huskies don't seem too concerned.
The turf's a little bit faster and stuff, so other than that, I think we should be fine. It should improve us, if anything,
The Huskies are led by senior sensation Sam Dexter, who was hitting a robust .408 this season with 22 doubles, 3 triples, 5 home runs, and 43 knocked in. Sam recently became the second player in NCAA Division III history to have at least 300 career hits. But the former Messalonsky star is focused on one goal and one goal only.
Well, just winning the national championship, obviously, and working toward that goal every day. And it's not easy. It's a process. You got to take it one day at a time, and just really excited for this next month.
Well, high school baseball from this afternoon. The undefeated Portland Bulldogs back home taking on the Marshwood Hawks. A gorgeous afternoon at Hadlock Field. First batter of the game, Marshwood's Ryan O'Neill hits a shallow fly to center, but check out the unbelievable grab from Nick Archambault. That's how you do it. Bottom one now, and the Bulldogs threatening Dominic Tachi is going to go down the line and right. That will score Jacob Knopp. An RBI triple for Tachi. That made it 1-0 Bulldogs. They would go on to the 3-0 shutout win to improve to 8-0. Sox and A's again at Fenway tonight.
Lots of baseball. All right, great. Thanks, Dave.
So ahead, On Guard, a Maine team's special skill and how it's leading her to a big national competition.
A 13-year-old girl from Orono is chasing her dream of becoming one of the country's top fencers.
Erin Gerby was 9 when she picked up the sport. Now this summer she's heading to Dallas to compete in the United States Fencing Association's national finals.
Her long-term goal is to someday compete in the Olympics.
Go.
Go, girl. Yeah. Nice day, Charlie, and another one on the way.
More nice weather's on the way. A live look from our Portland sky cam, 65 miles to the west. We have Mount Washington there. We have the clear skies with the sun setting just before 8 o'clock tonight. Tomorrow, look for sun, 60s and low 70s again. So quite pleasant through the end of the week.
Get used to this. All right, thanks, Charlie. Nice. We're going to leave you tonight with another sign of spring. This mother duck and her ducklings waddling their way through our parking lot this afternoon.
There they go. Safely got to the other side as well. Hey, thanks so much for joining us, everybody. The CBS Evening News is coming up next, or feel free to join us over on Fox 23 News. Keep up, little guy. Fox 23 News at 6:30.